2014, Ferguson, Missouri, shot to death.
Rolando Castillo, 32 years old, July 6, 2016, Belmont Heights, Minnesota, shot 7 times.
Hi Gurley, 28, November 20th, 2014, Brooklyn, New York. Shot.
Trayvon Martin, 17 years old, February 26th of 2012, Sanford, Florida, shot in the chest.
Alfredo Longo, age 38, September 27th, 2016, El Cajon, California. Shot by police after showing weird signs and behavior.
Alton Sterling, age 37, July 5th, 2016. Baton Rouge, Louisiana, shot twice.
Sandra Bland, age 28, July 13th, 2015, Waller County, Texas. Asphyxiation.
Jonathan Farrell, age 24, September 14, 2013, Charlotte, North Carolina, shot 10 times.
Oscar Grant, age 22, January 1st, 2009, Oakland, California, Fruitville Station. Held down, then shot and killed.
Korean Brisbane, 34 years old, December 2nd, 2014, Phoenix, Arizona, shot twice.
Laquan McDonald, 17, October 20th, 2013, Chicago, Illinois, shot 16 times.
Usama Rahim, 26, June 2nd, 2015, Boston, Massachusetts, shot to death.
Randolph McLean, 33 years old, January 29th, 2016, Lynn, Massachusetts, shot to death.
Dean Powell, 25, August 19th, 2014, St. Louis, Missouri. Shot several times.
Lavelle Ford, 25, August 11th, 2014, Los Angeles, California, shot to death.
Tyree Woodson, 38, August 5th, 2014, Baltimore, Maryland. Shot and killed himself in the bathroom at a police station.
Cedric Chapman, shot and killed in Chicago on January 7th, 2013.
Victor White III, 22, March 3rd, 2014, New Iberia, Louisiana. It was supposedly a suicide. Autopsy reports tell a different story.
Keith McLeod, 19, September 23rd, 2015, Baltimore, Maryland. Chased after being accused of trying to use a fake prescription. Shot for whipping around with a weapon in hand.
Tiara Thomas, 30, November 18, 2016, Portage, Indiana. Shot to death. Terrence Crusher, 40, September 16, 2016, Tulsa, Oklahoma. Pulled over to fix his car and was shot to death with suspicion.
Daughtry Hamilton, 31 years old, April 30th, 2014, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, was shot 14 times after an altercation with a police officer.
Mark Crawford III, 23, August 5th, 2014, Cleveland, Ohio. Shot while taking notes on a movie.
Samir Rice, 12, November 22nd, 2014, Cleveland, Ohio. Cousin of fellow Brooksy and Kelly Perkins, class of 2001. Shot while playing with a toy.
Conley Parker, 36, August 20th, 2014, Victorville, California. Taser. Yvette Smith, 47, February 16, 2014, Bastrop County, Texas. Shot to death in her home. Charles Kinsey, 47, July 18, 2016, North Miami, Florida. He was trying to help his autistic patient. Police approached. He surrendered. They shot.
Eric Gardner, 43, July 17, 2014, Staten Island, New York. Chokeholded and compression of his chest. I can't breathe.
It is not our differences that divide us. It is our inability to recognize, accept, and celebrate those differences. Our dear Lord.
These conversations are always so tense, so painful. People are defensive. We want to believe we are good. To face the racisms and prejudices we carry forces us to recognize the ways in which we are imperfect. We have to be willing to accept our imperfections, and we have to be willing to accept the imperfections of others. Is that possible on the scale required for change? Roxine Gay.
One in 3 Black males is expected to go to prison in his lifetime. That's respectively 7 in the 21 Black males at Brooks. 7 of your friends, classmates, teammates, teachers, and coaches. Just think about that.
Sarah and I are both members of the BSU, or the Black Student Union at Brooks.
For us, BSU is less like a club and more like a small family. We're made up of a group of students at Brooks who not only identify as African American or Black, but also feel they would benefit from engaging with other students like themselves through conversation and fun times, as we are a minority group at Brooks.
We feel it is important for students to have a home within their home at Brooks, where they can turn to for any reason necessary. We come together twice a month, not only to raid Miss Shaniel's kitchen, but to have a space to reflect.
As much as some may think we live in a colorless world, our world is so filled with color that it can be sometimes overbearing.
The BSU opens up a portal for students to reflect on what it means to be Black at Brooks, Black in our homes, and Black in this world, and how that is relayed through the news to the greater population.
There's something about having dark skin on a woman's body that choreographs the way she moves through the world. And there's something about having dark skin on a man's body that choreographs the way he moves through the world. And Brooks is no exception to that. Throughout these few years at Brooks, we've come to the realization that being Black at Brooks is different from being Black at home. Though our identity follows us from place to place, it shifts and responds differently depending on our environment.
I've never felt so in touch with my race until I came to Brooks and realized how different it was compared to everyone around me.
When we're here, without always realizing it, we try to culturally lighten ourselves to make up for the fact that our skin isn't lighter, like adapting to the slang or dressing the part.
Where we're from, New York that is, it's considered to be the ultimate melting pot, and it's true. There is without a doubt diversity within the city and the state as a whole. And Brooks, in a sense, is also diverse, but a different kind of diverse.
Think about it this way. For those of you thinking about colleges, when an admissions officer talks about diversity within a school, they tend to say things like we have at least one student from each state, 40 different countries, et cetera, et cetera. But that diversity that we're talking about, that New York City has and that Brooks may lack, is a diversity of thought, culture, experience, background, and perspective. The only type of diversity that can foster a community of rich understanding.
How do we create a community, you may wonder? Our formula is simple. Start by replacing the word sensitive with perceptive, or compassionate,
considerate,
accepting,
inclusive,
and dare we say, empathetic. We are all educated and passionate about different topics, so why can't we bring them to surface while encompassing these values? Why not teach the rest of the community about something that tugs at your heart? Well, for us, the issue of police brutality upon unarmed Black men and Black lives as a whole has been tugging at our hearts everywhere we go. You heard those names, and that list carries on as we speak. Those names can be anyone. Those names are brothers, sisters, mothers, fathers, aunts, uncles, grandmothers to people. Those are people,
not just another body. Technology has opened up a whole new image of police brutality, one that is actually seen in a lens. There hasn't been a spontaneous inflation in the number of police brutality cases or riots or protests. The only change is the cameras on phones being able to record them. And in a sense, it's necessary for people to see these things, whether it's scrolling through Instagram or looking at it on your Facebook feed. We need to shock people into paying attention. The thing is, though, we don't want to shock them into complete numbness. We don't want to separate ourselves so much that hearing about another shooting on the news just isn't enough. It needs to be a personal matter, whether or not you take it personally. So, let us give you a sense of just how personal this is to us.
Brother, an original poem. Young middle schooler up late on a Friday night.
Her mother half awake, trying to sleep tight.
But her motherly radar is on, going strong.
It's 3 a.m. and you're still not home.
Please don't leave me in this world alone.
Please don't let me see your identical face to mine on the news and have our family sing the never-ending blues, blues to continue the same sad song passed along from family to family, news watchers seeing tragedy after tragedy.
Is this what it has to be? Families wait at the door, heart sore, carrying a burden with no cure. That's the burden that comes along with being black. Stereotypes before a person, man, that shit is whack.
One right move and that could be the wrong one.
One wrong move and that could be the worst one.
Mother always told us we can be anything and more, coddle us out the door and make sure we're off the street.
Then come home and always have something good to eat.
This repeated cycle of love doesn't ensure that racism will ever have a cure.
You may ask, why are you so concerned? Why do you keep writing about this stuff? I will never stop writing about this because this is the truth. There is harm not only inflicted upon black elders, but black youth. I will never stop writing or speaking about these issues because they will never reach the amount of tissues used by mothers crying over the dead bodies of their kids. Let that be my brother, only God forbid.
God forbid. So cute, right? Recently, my brother has gotten into the habit of walking laps around our block. He just walks. Sometimes to blow off steam, clear his mind, or just to get out of the house. Now, from an outsider's perspective, this may seem perfectly normal. But for Nelson, my brother, walking around the block is more than simply walking around the block. For me, 3 factors play into this. He is black, he is male, and we live about 3 minutes away from the Nassau County precinct. These 3 things put together, along with the fact that he tends to walk when he gets home from school when it's dark, and that 70% of his wardrobe consists of hoodies, worries me. Nelson is the sweetest, most naive, and annoying teen I've ever known. He's harmless. So the fact that due to decades of unfair and unequal portrayal of black men in the media, he could be considered to the average person as a threat scares me, and it angers me. It scares me that the right move could be the wrong one. I don't like living with that fear. I don't think I should have to live with that fear. Neither should he. In fact, I don't think any of us, if it applies, should have to live with the fear that comes along with having a little more melanin in your skin than the next person.
Even with the brother that has less melanin and coming from a multiracial family, I have the same fear Sarah has for her brother. James is my older brother, my best friend, and the one I look to for everything. One of the things he taught me was that whenever you do something wrong, there is always a consequence. However, in this world, I'm seeing less of that now. I click on my television screen, scroll through my news feed, and not only do I hear the screams of victims and hurt family members, but the scream of privilege granted to individuals in this world, making their obscene actions justifiable. Just because my brother and my people aren't granted with the same things doesn't mean the privileges of others can potentially put my brother, as well as millions of other brothers, sisters, and mothers in their graves. But this is our reality.
The Black Lives Matter movement is not just about black lives. It is about all people of color. It stands in the past and present solidarity with white people who have sought to walk, protest, cry, and denounce racism and brutality toward people of color. And before you try to understand this concept, you have to first understand the evolution of racism itself.
Things like racism are institutionalized. You might not know any bigots. You feel like, well, I don't hate black people, so I'm not a racist. But you benefit from racism just by the merit, the color of your skin, the opportunities that you have. You're privileged in ways that you might not even realize because you haven't even been deprived of certain things. We need to talk about these things in order for them to change. Dave Chappelle.
No one wants to be labeled as a racist because it does, in fact, hurt. The reality is, though, we're all hurting. But we don't need to accept that pain. We do need to confront it. So, why do Black Lives Matter? Black Lives Matter because we matter.
Black Lives Matter because my brother's life should matter just as much as your brother's.
Black Lives Matter because my uncle, whose skin color played a leading role in why he's in jail for a crime he did not commit, deserves to be reunited with his 6-year-old daughter.
Black Lives Matter because blacks make up only 13.3% of the U.S. population, but make up 43% of the prison population, and that's just not right.
Black Lives Matter because jazz and hip-hop tell us invaluable stories.
Black Lives Matter because soul food is good food.
Black Lives Matter because black churches can't be described as anything other than lit.
Black Lives Matter because the family currently living in the White House is also lit.
Black Lives Matter because of extraordinary black mothers and black fathers.
Black Lives Matter because black is so, so beautiful.
And Black Lives Matter because there are communities like this one capable of proving it.
So, tomorrow, Friday, December 2nd, we will be our first all-school blackout. We invite everyone in the community to wear all black clothes in dress code to stand as a school for a growing issue in our country.
Many of you have seen bracelets on community members around campus that say Brooks believes Black Lives Matter. For those of you that already have a bracelet, we encourage you to wear it tomorrow.
For those who don't, if you would like one, we still have a few extra, and depending on the need, we will order some more if they run out.
The hope is that tomorrow, with our all-black clothes but vast range of colors of skin, we will live and breathe in solidarity with people who believe that all lives matter, but are ready to help us with the black ones. And that it will be more about black lives, but about changing the way our country perceives human life, regardless of color.
As we near our closing, at the end of our speech, if you choose to stand, we ask that you not stand for us.
If you choose to, you can stand for Trayvon Martin,
For Tamir Rice,
for Michael Brown.
for Sandra Bland,
If you choose to, you can stand for Eric Garner,
for Oscar Grant,
for Nelson Palmer,
for James Tate,
for any black life you're thinking about,
for the black lives we've lost.
and all the black lives we've got.
Thank you.